Hi, my name is Gregory Taylor. I work for Cycling74, a distributed company whose geolocal address is in San Francisco. We make software for artists, video people, and people who have basically hit the edge of the end-user applications they're working on. We've recently partnered with our friends at Ableton to create something called Max for Live, and as the name implies, it is in fact just that. It is a version of Max which runs inside of Live. If you've got a second, I'll be glad to let you take a look at it. Max for Live essentially runs inside the Live interface. So for example, if you want to load a live object, you find it under the regular devices. Here's a Max audio effect. I'll click and drag it onto the audio channel and it appears. What we have here is a sort of stub plugin. The plugin has a Max object called plugin tilde that accepts audio from the Live host application and sends it out left and right channel to some other source. Likewise, there's an object called plug out tilde, which is the reverse. It takes object from audio from a Max patch and sends it to the Live application. Similarly, if we were working with MIDI, we'd do the same thing. We'd have a MIDI in object that accepted MIDI from Live and then send it into a MIDI channel, so you can use it to control interfaces or instruments. Once we've done this, you'll find that this instrument has an edit button, and here's where things get interesting. When I hit this edit button, I'm actually launching a real live copy of Max, which is our graphic programming development environment for people who want to work with audio and video. So what I have here now, instead of a live device, is actually a fully functional Max patch, which I can edit. And for those of you out there who actually do know Max, this really honestly is Max. Everything is there. So for example, I have the standard palette that we use to program Max with. There's not a lot of changes to the Max external objects that are offered, but we have a number of new objects which are intended to work specifically with Live. They look and act like the Live interface objects that you already know. I'll get the new one here. And they can be added to your Live input object like every other Max object. They send messages when they are connected, so I'll connect these two objects together and lock the patch. And you'll notice when I click on the Live dial, I'm sending out the proper amount of data. We use these objects to create various kinds of audio processes in Max. Now we can't show you on this particular version. I'll just show you what happens when we close it. When we close it up, save the results. This doesn't actually do anything, but it could. I'll save it and close it. You'll notice here's my new Live object and it has my dial in it, and it now runs once again as though it's an ordinary Live device. One of the other features of this, so I guess one way you might want to think about this in terms of how Live and Max work together. If you're familiar with software synthesis at all, something like C-Sound, then you might want to think of Live as the score and Max as the orchestra instrument. However, one of the other things we're going to be doing in the coming days is exposing the Live API so that you can use Max messages to actually control the Live application itself. So as well as doing things like designing unusual ways to process audio to create instruments or MIDI controllers, you will also actually be able to control Live itself from a Max patch. Any of you who have the slightest instinct for generative work, which is pretty much all of my life, would, I think, be as excited about that as I am. It's going to be released a very short time after the appearance of Live 8. It requires Live 8 to run. If you own Max 5 already, there will be an upgrade path available for you. If you don't own Max 5, you don't need to own it to run Max 5 in Live. You can buy the add-on directly from Ableton, and you'll need Live 8 and this as well. It should be out sometime, I don't know, middle of the year or so, and it should be a great deal of fun. I've really enjoyed it so far. We look forward to seeing, as we always do with what we make, what you do with it. Thanks very much for your support, and I hope you'll find Max for Live to be something you're really interested in. Thanks.